A continent of 54 nations. Over 1,000 languages, and a shared painful history of division. For decades, leaders have spoken of a united Africa, a single market, a single passport, and a single voice on the world stage.
Why shouldn't there be free movement of people, goods and services? Why? Why shouldn't people of one country freely move across the border to another country, across the whole continent? What is the issue?
But why does this dream, so vivid in the speeches of Kwame Nkrumah and Patrice Lumumba, feel so distant on the ground today?
There is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. And my last warning to you is that you ought to stand firm behind us so that we can prove to the world that when the African is given a chance, he can show to the world that he's somebody.
The first obstacle is etched on the map itself. Our modern borders are not the result of ancient kingdoms or ethnic consensus. They are the scars of the 1884 Berlin Conference, where European powers carved Africa like a cake, dividing communities and forcing rivals into artificial states.
Immediately we remove the colonial Berlin Conference limitations, where a group of white boys sat on a table and took a ruler to draw boundaries. And now we wake up in the 21st century to discover that our grandmothers are across the river. Some of those lines literally cut through the dining room. And all of a sudden, to go to the kitchen, you need a passport. To go to the toilet, you need a passport. But this, I've never understood how 54 African presidents can fail to undo what 5, 10, or 15 white boys did in Berlin.
Decades after independence, these inherited divisions have evolved into modern conflicts and deep-seated prejudices. The idea of open borders clashes with harsh reality of competition and fear. In South Africa, a nation that itself benefited from Pan-African solidarity during the apartheid, economic hardships often fuel violence against fellow Africans. The narrative shifts from brotherhood to "they are stealing our jobs."
If you can just briefly tell us the purpose of this march today.
Okay, the purpose is that as South Africans we felt that it's necessary to remind the government that they are for South Africans and the people that they are supposed to be focusing on are South Africans. For the longest time we've sat back and we've watched our government prioritizing people from outside the country, but more than that, we're saying no more to illegal immigrants. We've seen our borders being flooded with people from all over Africa, and the amount of problems that it's caused for the country are immense. We can't accommodate everyone. We can't bring the whole of Africa here. We love our African brothers and sisters, but they also need to go home and fight for their own struggles in their own homes.
In the mineral-rich East, there is a fight over resources. The dream of unity drowns in a cycle of suspicion and violence that benefits armed groups and foreign corporations. And where the state fails entirely, as in Sudan or other parts of Sahel, survival becomes local. The very concept of national unity let alone continental unity, is a luxury for those fleeing bullets and famine.
في نسوان السينة دولة حصلت لهم انتهاكات كثيرة بهناك لكن ما بيتكلموا بدسوا يحكوا يقولوا شنو طيب احنا ده نعملوا شنو ورونا نعملوا شنو ورونا نعملوا شنو احنا.
So where is the African Union in all of this? It champions Agenda 2063, a blueprint for a continental passport and a single air transport market. Yet its power is hamstrung by a fundamental principle, the absolute sovereignty of its member states.
You will hear about the African Union. Yes, it exists. But what is the effect of the African Union in reality? We cannot talk about integration in the theme and not talk about the African Union. Because it is this organization that should unite us, create real integration. But we regret to see these wars that persist on the African continent, killing millions of young people. And that this organization, which has heads of state, with armies, is unable to organize itself to support certain countries. The Union is not just a word. The Union is a symbol. And we, the youth, should learn a lesson from this situation to unite, to make integration a reality. I was unpleasantly surprised when Ethiopia, which hosts the headquarters of the African Union, was experiencing a conflict. And when I saw the Prime Minister put on a military uniform and announce the closure of the university in Addis Ababa to face the threat. I did not see any action from the African Union to protect these headquarters. Most Western states saw Addis Ababa falling, packing up and leaving. Ethiopia fought, found an internal solution, and is living more or less in peace today. The children of Congo have been dying for years. Several other conflicts, such as in Sudan, exist on the continent. We would have liked to see the African Union generate the forces and all the necessary strategies to support these states so they can regain peace.
Perhaps the dream is not dead, but misunderstood. True unity may not be a single nation, but a continent where borders cease to be barriers to commerce, ideas, and people. Where a Zimbabwean startup company can scale in Nigeria as easily as a German company can in France. The question is, what powerful forces might be content to see us divided? That is the other side of this story.